Hello and welcome to the Cosmic Healing Podcast. This is Vaughn and we have our favorite guest, Dana Whitby. We are tuning in today to discuss the energies for October. Hello, October, and hello, Dana.
Hi, Vaughn. I'm so happy to be here. I cannot wait to see what's coming up in October. This is like my favorite month of the year outside of my birthday month. I don't know about you, but I
Oh,
love October.
Oh, yeah. I think
Oh,
that we all just have a certain love affair with October because of that fall, because the veil is becoming more thin and we are more connected to all the witchy fun things in life. And that feels exciting to us, like the seasons change, we're changing, everything's just changing. And just really looking at October and the fact that it's like, holy shit, how are we looking at October, this 2024? I mean, we have just a few months left of this majorly transformational year. And it's been transformational. Like, wow, it has been I've haven't they all? I mean, I feel like the past 3 years have just been so intense and beautiful and profound. And looking at September, like, how was your September?
my September was just like really busy. I felt like I was very in my humanity in September. Like I was in my mom role, I was in my wife role. Um, and I feel the divinity really coming back in now in October. It's like, there's always those waves, those tides changing. But I just was very much in my human roles in September, which was fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah,
that's where I was in September. It really was.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
September, I feel like, well, this whole year in summer, I've talked about how it's like I haven't been anywhere really to speak of. Like it's just been very much at my home. And now it's interesting. Like now I almost don't want to leave my home because it's just so comfortable. It's like, how do I manage out there in the real world? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's been very deep for me. It's been very inwardly thinking and feeling and just access. It's been almost like a completion. You know what? It feels very, I feel like leading up to September, I felt a lot of like frazzled energy. And in September, I really allowed it all to like settle in my body, to like really take this time to be embodied in everything that 2024 has been bringing forth for me. And that's exciting though, because I have that new energy going into this last quarter of the year. And, it's crazy how it all works out.
Yeah. It's all for our highest and greatest good if we just flow with it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. So
Oh.
astrologically, talk to us. Like, what do we have happening in the stars?
Well, so literally October starts with a new moon solar eclipse on October 2nd. So we are starting off still in eclipse season, which is a really wild time. So the eclipses illuminate the north and the south nodes of the moon, which are our karmic points. So those points represent our karma, our past lives, what we came into this life, understanding and knowing what we have mastered in past lives, and things we need to let go of from past lives, karmic cycles that we need to break and change. And essentially, if we are really far off of our path, our spiritual path, the universe during eclipses kind of picks us up and like moves us back to where we need to be and drop us down. So there can be really crazy things that happen during eclipse season because that is the universe saying, move on back. You need
Mm.
to get right back on over here. A reminder of your path, a reminder of what you're supposed to be doing in this lifetime, a reminder of the bigger things. So a lot of people say, like, don't set intentions during eclipse season. Don't try to manifest anything. And that's because we need to let the universe take control. We need to just surrender to this. We need to say, I don't know best. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and try to manifest my future, because I am allowing the universe to put me where I need to be, and to trust the divine mother to move me where I need to be on my path. So that is why people say that. And so it's really important that we listen. It's really important that you don't sit down on this new moon and be like, what do I want to bring into my life in the next 6 months? Don't do that. Trust the divine plan for your life. Just flow with it.
Yeah.
Truly.
As going back to the karma part of things, for 2 weeks, I just kept feeling within myself and with everyone that I was talking to that there was this karmic loop that was building, 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 and it was just like ready to bust out. And it's like all of our subconscious beliefs were kept revealing themselves, and it's like that loop, that karma, that thought just kept coming up, right? And so I actually recorded a video, a healing video. I called it the Karmic Loop Healing Video. And I was going to make it like like a class where I invited people in. But then I was like, I just need it to be like a collective universal energy right now, and not like the energy of that group. And so I recorded the video, and I haven't sent it to anybody. Like, I haven't shared it. And it's because in that video, a lot of multidimensional light language came through that was like breaking through it. And I always get a little self-conscious when I'm in this room by myself, right? Like guiding a video of heal, and I'm experiencing it myself, and I'm just tuning into the universal collective through this healing energy, and this channeled light language of like break through this is like coming through. And then it was just like this beautiful angelic frequency that moved through, like after that healing, like was so intense. And it was a lot. And so I've sat on it. I just did it this past week, and I've sat on it. So with you just sharing what you shared about I know why I was being so guided to help people break through that video. And it's like, I will create a link and have it in the show notes, and it's going to be free. And if you do it, if you have a great experience, fantastic. Let me know. If you don't, if you're like, this is stupid, it doesn't work, then just keep it to yourself and be like, okay, that one wasn't the good one. But isn't that funny how like the nudge to just do, and I actually sat down and recorded it and then just sat on it. Like, what? Hello, that is my karmic loop of like, don't don't put it out there because people might reject it. Isn't that fascinating? Which is like obviously my big wound is fear of rejection. So it's like I created it and didn't even share it, didn't even talk about it. Oh goodness. We are
The
so
layers of
cute,
that. There's
right?
layers of, yes, like you creating a healing thing, healing yourself, your own stuff coming up, other people's stuff. Like, it's wow, that's amazing.
We're so funny as humans, like as connected as I am to like, me and my power and my divinity. And it's like, oh, but I'll just keep this over here. It's like nobody puts baby in the corner episode, right? I'm like, oh, Vaughn, you were so funny.
No, and we all do it to ourselves in different ways too. It's not just you. And but I just love that you followed that nudge, because that truly is what is needed right now. That is truly what's being called for.
Yeah, that's all right. So I'll put it in the show notes, and y'all can have fun with it and tell me what you think. But that is amazing, like the actual what we're truly working through and what those eclipse energies really bring forth for us to work through. So when we say it over and over again, it's all for our highest and greatest of good if we surrender into it.
Yes, absolutely. And to get more specific about it, because of course each eclipse has its own flavoring, right? According to the astrological signs that are involved. And so this eclipse is on the axis of Libra and Aries, which is the uh, opposite signs are always two different expressions of the same core, right? So they're both about relationships. Aries is about your relationship with yourself. Libra is about your relationship with other people. So it's about setting boundaries, honoring yourself, finding a balance between serving and receiving. Um, all of these really important points of how we interact with other people, but also how we value ourselves and our own energy and our own time. So that is a theme that's coming up. And we also have Chiron involved with this new moon solar eclipse. So, Vaughn's favorite, Chiron. But this is an opportunity for some deep healing, is what this is. Some deep karmic
Hence
healing.
my putting my video out there, no matter how scared of rejection I am.
Exactly, because your Chiron is about being rejected, and it's in Aries. So, yeah,
Yep.
for you personally.
Plot twist. I didn't even, but yeah, you're exactly right. That is exactly what's happening. Well, shit. I'm excited. That'll be fun. So fun.
It's going to be good. And then the eclipse energies, nothing is a light switch. It's not like once the eclipse happens on October 2nd, it's over. It's going to take a little while for the tide to kind of move back out. And so I think you'll feel a bit more stable as October moves on and the eclipses kind of move through, the energy kind of settles a bit. Um, and so this month, the sun is going to be in Libra, which again shines down kind of those themes of relationships, of balance, of not sacrificing yourself in order to keep the peace. That is one of the lower vibrations of Libra, is that they are willing to just say, okay, fine, we don't have to do what I want to do. It's for the greatest good of all. But you really self-sacrifice yourself and you really drain your energy that way. So it is important to set boundaries with people this month,
Yeah.
especially for our community, because we are empaths, we are intuitives. If you're listening to this podcast, you are, and people want that. They want our energy, and you have to be very um, protective of yourself and how much you give.
Yeah.
It's
I
really
feel
important.
that very deeply, especially focusing on the home life and, especially as we are getting into the cooler months, and we will be at home more, and like as our family needs us. I know, for example, like my husband, he's a big football fan, and he doesn't want me to watch, he doesn't need me to watch football with him, but I like feel like that's a time that we can hang out together, and I have no desire to watch football, like really typically. Um and so I just think I'll find myself navigating through, do I hang out with my husband and watch football that I really don't care about, but I care about him and want to be with him, or do I go read my book or go outside and ground in nature and do blah 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 whatever. And so it's just really interesting, like how the thoughts, right? Like I'm aware of those decisions that I get to make. And the beautiful thing is, I get to make them and then I get to learn from them. If I'm sitting there watching football with them and I'm like, this actually is not where I want to be, I get to get up and leave, right? Like I'm just sharing this as an example because we get to make decisions and then we get to change our minds. We get to surrender into what feels really good because again, we're learning. We're always constantly learning and evolving about what feels good, what doesn't feel any, because in the past I've always sat and watched football with them and had a drink, and it's like that's not what I want to do anymore. And so as that's changing, me giving myself permission to change along, those traditions and stuff like that. And that's just such a small little example, but it's a huge example in my life as I am claiming more responsibility for my own joy and happiness.
I love that, Vaughn. I think that's a great example because it's so practical and it's so real. And like the high vibe side of Libra would say, okay, I'm going to be with my husband for the first quarter or whatever. And then I'm going to go do my own thing. So you're going to give to him, you're going to connect, but you're still going to value yourself.
Yeah.
Libra says you can have both. You
Yeah,
just have to be willing to have both.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, we get to have it all, people. We
Have both.
really do. And part of deconstructing that is allowing ourselves to have it all because in the past we couldn't have it all, right? Like it wasn't that was a conditioned belief that no, we cannot, it cannot be that good. How dare it be that good? But, we're here to remind you that it gets to be that good. It gets to be that happy and joy filled. We just have to find where that joy is and where we get to go find it. And that it invites you to like explore new opportunities and invite in new friends and create more community, right? So all of this is like all coming full circle.
Yes, so beautiful. I love it. And then towards the end of October, we will move into the sign of Scorpio, which we'll talk more about in the November episode. But Scorpio is a really deep, intuitive sign. It's a very, very powerful sign. Um, it is an intensity. And so just be prepared for that coming later in the month. You might feel like light and bright and whatever in Libra, and then things can get a little heavier, a little more intense towards the end of the month. But it is for your transformation. Scorpio is
Right.
transformation and evolution. So we'll get into that next month more, but know
Yeah.
that that's
Right. And enjoy the ride, knowing, that's everything that we teach and talk about here is we're going to have the highs and lows and we get to ride them all. We get to feel the highs, we get to feel the lows because we know we're going to be high again and we know we're going to feel low again. So just enjoy the freaking ride.
yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. I love it. All right. Should we see what the cards have to say?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Well, let's protect our space, set our intentions, and come to this with the reverence that it deserves. So, as long as you are not driving, I invite you to close your eyes with us. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Casting around us now throughout all time and space, a golden light of protection for this beautiful community and this sacred space that we have. We ask any lower level energies to be outside of this circle at this time, including any thoughts, feelings, beliefs, or spirits. And we call in now our way showers, all of our guides, our angels, our past loved ones, ascended masters, archangels, any beings of the highest vibration and with our purest of intentions at heart are welcomed into this golden sacred space at this time. We set our intention to seek to understand the energies at play in October of 2024. And we seek these guidance messages so that we can flow with the energies that exist rather than struggling, pushing, or fighting against them, so that we can surrender to the will of the Divine Mother, following in the path that she has laid before us. I also invoke now the power of holy fire Reiki, so that in simply hearing and receiving these words, every listener, each one of us would receive a cleansing and a clearing of our energy, a loosening of the resistance that we may feel to our ultimate path. And in the places that have been made empty, I ask that unconditional love would come in and fill them so that we can face this new month with confidence, reverence, ease, and peace. We offer up our deepest gratitude for all of those beings who are gathered here today in our honor. And so it is. Okay. Some interesting energies here. I don't think we've gotten this combination of cards before. Very, very interesting. So we are starting off here with the dolphin card. And the dolphin card really speaks to all of Vaughn's beautiful work that she does. This card is about sound healing and breath work specifically. It is about the connection that we have to dolphins. Dolphins breathe air. They are also born in water. They come from a water-filled womb, just as we do. And so there are some beautiful connections that humans have to dolphins. And I will read about it for you here directly from the guidebook. If you're interested in card numbers, this is number 42. Sorry, I'm trying to find it here. Okay. The keywords for the dolphin are peace, energetic healing, and tranquility. A pod of dolphins crest above the water, taking in deep breaths full of oxygen, then returning to the depths. Their glistening backs sparkle in the brilliant sunlight. When this card appears, dolphins are encouraging you to connect with your breath and use sound to usher in gentle yet deep healing. At birth, both dolphins and humans emerge from a liquid-filled womb, inhale a first breath, and then make sounds. Because humans and dolphins enter the world in a similar way, we are deeply connected to one another. There is much that dolphins have to teach us about the healing arts of breathwork and sound healing. They have developed a rhythm for breathing and utilizing sound that humans typically take for granted. Right now, what is needed for your highest growth are soft and soothing healing processes. No outward force is needed, only your willingness to delve into energetic work that provides tranquility and peace. Taking deep breaths immediately alerts the nervous system that you are safe. Practice noticing your breathing throughout the day and slowing your inhales and exhales when your stress levels rise. Play gentle music while moving through your routines if possible. Music that is tuned to specific megahertz frequencies can provide energetic healing without much effort at all. To take it a step further, work with practitioners trained in sound healing or breath work by attending classes like Vaughn's, a sound bath, or booking a private session. Sound, breath, and water are all sources of life. When you return to these elements, you soothe yourself on a very primal level. Step now into the medicinal benefits of working with the dolphins and your energetics. And the reminder here is find peace through gentle healing practices.
Sound, breath, and water. You know, I think it's so interesting. There's so much more new research coming out around water and how we forget how much water we are made of. And the frequencies that can be created within our water frequency that is connected to our DNA and our cells, and knowing that all of this is connected. It all started with the breath for me. Like the more I connected to my breath and the more I cleared out some of the congestion in my body, the more that my voice wanted to be expressed through my body. It's like it was creating the new frequency of the water in my body, and so it's like I literally am a different frequency. I mean, we all are. We're creating a different frequency with our voice that helps to like shift, because it's vibration. All of it is a vibration. And as we expand the vibration in our body, it is affecting the water in our body. And what are we, like 75% water? I mean, maybe more. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy when you really understand how much water you are made of and the frequency. I mean, it's all about vibration and frequency, and sound and breath are the very things that will affect the frequency of your water in your body. So this is a powerful card. And because we are being called up to shift our vibration and to expand our frequency, this is just confirming that the way to that is through breath and sound healing, changing, and that exists within you. I remember when I first started doing breathwork classes, I always had my sound bowls, and my sound bowls were a huge part of my classes. And I would bring that in, and then I noticed the more I started working with the sound bowls, my voice would start to match that the sound bowl frequency. Like if I had the heart chakra bowl or the root chakra bowl or whatever, my voice would match that frequency. And then I would start like, like humming with the bowl. And then it would encourage the whole class to hum with the bowl and to match my frequency of what was being created in that space. And then slowly but surely, you've been in my classes, you very rarely see me playing and using the sound bowls anymore. But I am always using our voice of like like bringing in that frequency. And so I just think that's so fascinating because my voice to me, like I'm like the family joke of like, I love to sing, but I have a horrible voice. Like I just, it's not a good singing voice, but the way that I sing in classes, like when my breath is the thing that is moving through me, and the more that I feel that Holy Spirit like raise through me and raise that vibration through me, and I allow it. See, this is what we're talking about here. This is where things get a little tricky because I feel that rise move up through me, right? And then it's like, no, don't, that sounds weird. Don't sing or don't make a sound like that. Like that's weird. But I give myself permission over and over and over again to let the sound move through me, no matter how weird I think it may sound. I surrender into it anyway. And I know that that is the very thing that is aiding in my shift of vibrational frequency. But it all started with my breath being the very thing that could carry the voice through me, that could create safety in my body for that vibrational tone to move through me. Because, like I always say, we are our own healers. And it's through that shifting the vibration through your voice and through your breath and changing the frequency of the water, your DNA connection to the water and everything, that is creating a new frequency within. This is how we heal cancer cells. This is how we heal the dis-ease within. This is how we heal ourselves. Whether it is emotional, physical, mental, this is the way. And we are just being called more and more every day to come back home to this. And I'm just so grateful and obsessed with finding the medical doctors and teachers that are going against the grain of their traditional medical practices and teachings, and bringing this, like Dr. Zach Bush, obsessed with him. He's such an incredible man. I love his teachings. I actually was just listening to a podcast about this exactly. So I'll be sure to put that in the show notes as well. It's just fascinating. I just listened to that podcast yesterday, actually. So the fact that we're having this conversation right now, ding, ding, ding.
Really interesting for sure. And part of what I wanted to convey, I didn't focus on it so much in the message of this, but I put it in there that when we are born, the first thing we do is we take a breath and we scream, we cry, we use our voice. Like that is the moment when it's like our soul has merged with our physical body. And I believe our voice is our soul expressing itself. Like how, explain to me how the voice works. Like, it's kind of a mystery. You know what I mean? I know scientists know whatever, but like,
Yeah.
it's kind of a mystery, isn't it?
And, I love the visuals too about the vocal cords being the
Oh,
same as like the vulva and all the
yes,
reproductive things that are,
yes,
like that combination. Like we need to put an image of that too in the Facebook group.
yes, yes. We need to find that.
Yeah, because that's
It-
all, every time I see that, I'm like, damn. I mean, but golly, how divinely orchestrated are we created? Like just amazing how it's all connected.
It's incredible. And don't you think it's interesting that almost everyone, when they hear their voice recorded, they kind of immediately recoil? It's like, ooh, I don't like the sound of my voice. Everyone says that. And
Mhm.
it's interesting because I was having this conversation with my mom recently, and she was like, oh, I hate the sound of my voice. And I was like, I love the sound of my voice. But it took me a long time. When I first started recording the podcast, it did feel cringy.
Yeah.
But I think that's our resistance to our own soul in some way. It's our resistance that comes up. And it's like, the more you can hear your voice and love it, the more you're kind of aligning with your soul too, in my belief.
Absolutely. I 100,000% agree with that. And, again, going back to this year and that we really are, in the last few months of this 8 year, which is a transformational year, I just feel like we're just, it's real. We are being asked to go into the depths to hear the voice of our soul. That's
Yep,
it.
that's a beautiful segue to the next card too, Vaughn.
Okay. What's that?
We next have the eagle,
Oh, best.
which this really speaks to the Scorpio part of October when we get to the end of the month. So a lot of the signs have different evolutions, right? Like there's kind of like a lower vibration, maybe a middle, maybe a higher. There's a spectrum of energy of every sign. But for Scorpio specifically, it involves the eagle. So
Mm,
we all know that Scorpio, kind of the lower vibration of it is the scorpion, right? That reacts and is angry and stings when it's mad and wants to get back at people. The middle level of Scorpio is the eagle that takes a higher perspective of things and can fly above and says, okay, I'm not going to react immediately. I'm going to get a higher vantage point. I'm going to see all things here and understand what I'm dealing with before I react. And the highest iteration of Scorpio energy is the Phoenix. And the Phoenix knows that it must die in order to be reborn, that it has to go through this whole process. And so that just feels very relevant for the end of the month, specifically when we move into Scorpio season. Those are the three commonly accepted animals that are associated with Scorpio. So the fact that we got the eagle, because I don't have the Phoenix in the deck, um, I just think is very interesting.
yeah, that is very interesting. Oh, I love that
Yeah.
energy. Yeah. And it feels like that's exactly where we're going. It's where we're at. And I love the analogy of the Scorpio energy. I mean, because it is. I mean, my husband's a Scorpio. Most of my best friends and closest relationships are Scorpios, which I think is just so interesting because they really are. I mean, they can put that stinger up and then they can fly and then they can truly just like ride because they are representative of that death, of that. Oh, so good.
It's so good. Let me read you the description of this card though, because that was something I just wanted to add in for you all to like know and understand. But the meaning of this card is about some self-acceptance here and about some transformation as well, which I think is really important to hear. So, the Eagle card is number, hang on one sec. It's number 14, which is a really significant number to me personally. And the healing or the keywords for this card are healing, alchemy, and clarity. A majestic eagle soars in the open night sky before a fully illuminated moon. This eagle represents the ability to see yourself clearly and to alchemize your perceived weaknesses into strengths. When the Eagle card arrives, you are being granted access to its sacred powers, which include clarity and alchemy. An eagle's vision strength is 8 times more powerful than that of a human, which I also want to point out. An 8 is, we are in an 8 year, and an 8 is an infinity symbol sideways. Okay, back to the message. They are also masters of the sky, earth, and water because of their hunting skills and the prey that they consume. When eagle energy visits, you receive more clarity about yourself because of this extraordinary visual energy. When you're able to see your so-called flaws, that it is possible to fear, when you see your so-called flaws, it is possible that fear and hesitation might creep in. Clarity about yourself can potentially cause you to doubt your own wisdom or your capability. And you might be wondering if you're qualified to tackle what you'd like to accomplish in life. The Eagle card comes to teach you how to shapeshift and to become a master of your own universe. Can you take your perceived weaknesses and alchemize them into assets? Examine your personality, your habits, your tendencies, and your abilities. Which qualities are deemed undesirable by society, but are actually valuable? Like the eagle, you are a master of all elements of yourself. All parts of you are needed for this journey called life. Every habit, every quirk, or every tendency has a purpose and a place. If you want to release or change them, you have the power to do so. But you can also shift the lens through which you view yourself in order to love yourself more fully. Use this eagle energy to take the way that you have judged yourself in the past and alchemize it into a new perspective of who you are. By doing this, you are healing old wounds. So take responsibility for the power within and become so much more than you ever dreamed possible. You are highly equipped. And the reminder for this card says, you are a powerful alchemist who weaves all qualities of yourself into the healing journey. I love this card.
That's
So
beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Whew. And as we are shifting in vibration and frequency per the dolphin card, and we are allowing more of our voice to be heard by not only ourselves, but to others, that is when we have to allow that eagle energy to carry us.
Yes, absolutely. You know, and these two animals that came up, you know, one is of the water, the dolphin, and one is of the air, the eagle. And we have an air and a water sign this month in October. So the themes of air and water are really important this month, which I find to be interesting too.
Very interesting.
So there is some deep acceptance this month of who you are and what makes you you, and not shaming yourself for it and seeing it as an asset. What I was trying to convey in that message is kind of saying like, okay, well, sometimes I procrastinate, you know, but maybe being a procrastinator also means that you are not pushing or forcing something to happen before it's really ready. Like to kind of flip things around and see things differently, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Girl. Yeah. You're speaking my language right there. I mean, I am slow as molasses, and my whole, especially over the past many years, I judge that aspect of myself. Like I constantly feel like I need to be doing more. It's never enough. Um, and I feel like so much of my healing journey over the past couple years has just been the acceptance of this is who I am and how I operate. Like I literally and the prime example of letting the spirit move me. You know, like I don't do anything until the spirit moves me. But anytime I try to get in my way and like me move me, like my mind move me, it doesn't work out because that's just not who I am. I mean, of course, there's like the balance, but for the most part, anytime I try to force anything, it just is a waste of time and energy. And so, me being in my divine flow and joy, like that is my purpose in this lifetime, is to allow myself to embody that and to be the example of that, right? So, but when I'm frustrated with myself for not doing enough, not being productive, not nah, 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 then that's when my vibration lowers and I get in my own way and I lose days of not being happy versus just surrendering into it and letting myself be happy with who I am. Finding the balance, you know, like of course there's the ego mind stuff that might keep me in a loop of like unproductive activity. But for the most part, at this point, I know who I am. I know that I'm going to get it done when it's supposed to be done. And I just feel like if we can all just surrender to that and trust that innate wisdom within ourselves, that's when we become more happy. And that's all our sweet little souls want, is to be happy and to quit judging ourselves so much.
Exactly. I mean, this card doesn't want you to make excuses for not being, for whatever, but it wants you to take responsibility and to also not judge yourself quite so hard, for these
And we're
things.
so hard on ourselves. My goodness.
So hard on ourselves. So that's beautiful. And then the third card is really, really interesting. This actually just came up in a personal reading I did the other day. We have the lighthouse. So,
Mm.
a lot of times in the spiritual community, the spiritual world that I think we're all a part of, people see a lighthouse as like, shine your light, put your light out into the world. But if you think about what a lighthouse does, it actually warns of danger. It warns of what is coming up ahead. And so this card is a bit of a warning. It's a bit of like, hey, I'm letting you know now that you can do something different than how you've always done it. You have an opportunity to change, and you don't have to end up on those rocks. You don't have to end up stranded
Mashed
on
up against the letting the waves crash you into the wall and the rocks. Yeah.
yeah, this is like a warning and saying it's okay, you can different direction. So let me pull this up real quick and read it for you. This is card number 30. And the keywords are warning, decision making, and obstacles. A lighthouse situated on a rocky coastline warns ships of dangers ahead by radiating light. The purpose of a lighthouse is to guide sailors around hazardous conditions such as rocks, reefs, and shoals. The lighthouse card comes as a warning. There may be hazards hidden beneath the surface of a situation, or a person is not all that they seem. The path ahead may prove difficult to navigate, but you are gifted with foresight by the lighthouse. Your inner compass, or your intuition, has probably already alerted you, but perhaps you were not ready to see the truth and ignored your gut instincts. You are receiving confirmation now that your intuition is correct, and you would do well to follow your inner guidance. Only you know the best way to course correct in these waters. You must make a choice about how to proceed, and it requires self-trust. Heading straight into the challenges will allow you to learn lessons and grow. Or you might decide that turning around completely and going another direction is best. Either way, don't listen to any fear that might be trying to overthrow your intuition. The Lighthouse card offers you a golden opportunity of foreknowledge so that you can make choices in advance of challenges rising. You are able to use all that you have integrated within to make a choice that is in alignment with your higher self. Focus on that small voice inside your heart that knows the path. It usually speaks quietly, so be willing to listen closely and remember that you are capable of handling anything that comes your way. The reminder is to listen to your inner compass as you traverse a rocky path ahead.
Wow. That actually feels like such a perfect card for what we've been discussing. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, because as we are stepping more into ourselves and allowing more of that version of ourselves to shine, it is going to almost like you're gonna attract you know, some resistance there, whether it's from yourself or from family members or your friends, community, because you're changing. But that is required change for your evolution. And whether it's, you know, and I keep thinking like it's going to be as much your own resistance and your own stuff that is going to be blocking you into, but at the same time, like that is what you're attracting though. So
Right.
when you can shine the light on the thing that you are attracting, then that's going to give you time to change it.
Yeah. And what I wanted to really get through in this card was like empowerment. Like you are at a place where you can listen to your intuition. You've evolved enough. Like it's not new to you, you know? Like listen to it and then make choices and decisions that will help you navigate through this through listening to the intuition. You're not a baby at this. You are not new at this. Like you know enough and you have to believe that you know enough to really listen to it.
Yeah. Let's talk about this a second.
Okay.
The To the people that are tuning in right now, you have done so much work. Like you're not, like Dana just said, you're not a little baby, spiritual baby anymore. Like you know shit.
No shit.
So now it's time to freaking embody it, to allow this version of yourself to be embodied of the knowledge and the wisdom. Like no longer can we keep it up in our little heads. We have to let it drip down into our bodies, going back into the dolphin card so that we're clearing out that space and we're allowing our frequency to align to that truth, because it's just not doing us any good up in our mind. You have to be it, you have to embody it. And you know, I've talked so much over this year about my connection to Mother Earth, to Gaia. And the more that we embody this wisdom, this knowledge that you know, because you've done the work. So quit acting like you are a baby and you don't, I don't know how like feel the wah wah wah. That's okay. But now we're getting over it faster. Let that knowledge, that wisdom, that truth seep down into your frequency, into your cells, into your DNA, so that with every step you take, you are imprinting the truth as your human being existing right here, right now, into this earth. And this is how we will heal the world. With every step that you take is a vibrational frequency that you are carrying. You are the ripple effect. So you can't just stand there being like, I know all this stuff, you know, like stuck, frozen. I know it. You got to be it. You got to move with it. You got to carry it with you everywhere you go. I mean, I'm preaching to myself right now too. You know, like this is we are in a great, grand, transitional time of humanity's existence. We are humans living on this earth right now. The earth, her energy is rising up through us. The cosmic mother is moving down through us. So we got all this frequency. We got it moving up. We got it moving down. It's moving through us. We know, in our bodies, that's why it's freaking out. We're like, I don't do, but you do, you do. And even if you think you don't, what if you just took that step with that courage, with that wisdom, with that knowledge, with that faith and trust that it exists within you already? And maybe you don't even have to already know it. Maybe you will learn it with each step that you take. So let's just keep moving forward into the unknown because we are in uncharted territory, period. End of discussion. None of us know what the hell is happening right now. Because, I mean, aliens are coming. You know, we got the divine mother moving through us. We got Gaia creating, you know, hurricanes and tornadoes and fires and wars. And we got all this energy that is moving all around us. But it's happening for us, not to us. So let's lean in to that wisdom that is pulsing through our body, allow ourselves to purge the resistance that is keeping us so tightly bound from moving forward to receiving these deeper levels of truth. We must purge. We must let go. We must heal the past. We must let go of our fear of the future. We must learn to live in the present state of being, where we are no longer attached to the past and no longer fearful of the future, and have faith where we are right here, right now, that what we are learning, what we are receiving, what we are experiencing is all for the greater of good. And just let it be. It's time. It's time. No more pussyfooting around, y'all. It's time to it's time to walk with bold steps. No more tiptoeing like we don't know what we're doing. We know, we know, we know, we know.
We do know. We do know. We do know.
And yet we don't know anything at all, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
No, like we were talking earlier, like my theme of 2024 is the only thing I know is I know nothing at all. Like that is 100,000% true. And that makes me so happy because there's no pressure to have anything figured out. I'm just like, okay, I wonder what's next. You know, and I get to decide what feels true on my body and what doesn't. You know, like I'll read certain things or watch certain things, and I'm like, I don't think that's true. And then there's other things I'm like, yes, oh my God, that is so true in my body. You know, and so we get to decide.
It's a beautiful cosmic dance of following our wisdom until we reach a point where we're ready for new wisdom to come in. And then we understand that we bring the wisdom with us and that we're still learning new wisdom. And it's this constant, beautiful cosmic dance of trusting that you know everything you need to know, and also that you know nothing and you will learn it all as you go. Right?
Yeah, it
Two things
literally
can
a
be
dance.
true.
It's so
Yeah,
perfectly said. It's a cosmic dance.
it is. It is. And two things that are opposite can be true at the exact same time. You can
Yeah,
have all the wisdom that you need right now, and you can also know nothing at all.
yeah. And you know, going back to our body, um, it is amazing how much my body just shakes, just wants to shake, 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 dance, 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 like really like ecstatic dance and ecstatic shaking. Like I shared something recently. Oh, I shared a song that I just randomly found, and my body was like going into ecstatic dance. And then some people reply, I put it in the Facebook group, and some people were like, "Oh, I love to dance," and I was like, "This isn't the dance I'm talking about. Like I'm talking about ecstatic, spontaneous combustion of dance, of freedom, of shaking, of release in a way that your body, you know, like when we dance, like how we dance, you know, like I have a dance party every year, Christmas dance party, and we dance and we're dancing like how we know how to dance to all of our favorite songs. And, but what I'm talking about is freestyle dancing, like where it is like rogue and, you know, and there's ecstatic dance, you know, festivals and stuff like that. but you get to have that in your own bathroom or, by yourself. I highly encourage doing it by yourself because I mean, if my husband had been watching me or my children had been watching me dance like I was dancing the other day and exact like I mean like full like almost convulsions. My body is just like purging, 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 letting go of the density that is like keeping me in this robotic movement of like, well, this is what I do. I get up and I do this, and all day long I do this. And it's like, no, I want to be free, child. Like, let's be wild, let's be free. And so give ourselves permission and the space to just see, I wonder if I give my body permission to move freely without my judgment, right?
Yeah.
Or like me thinking like this is weird or why am I doing this? And I just like give myself permission to just move. How does my body really want to move? And to explore that, because our body is transitioning. I've been talking about this a lot in the past few months. Like our bodies, our guts, our intestinal system, everything, our cell, everything is like transitioning because we're moving more into like a crystalline energy, and like everything that our body is used to doing and being and processing is doing it in a completely different way. I know I've talked about my gut health over this summer, how it's been really like funky, but nothing, it hurts. I'm not, but like things are different down there, if you know what I mean. And so finally I was so like oh my God, something's wrong with me. And then it's like this wisdom moved over me that was just like, your body's just processing things differently.
Mhm.
Like your body, it's not how it's always been before. So when I see things differently or my body is processing through differently, I'm like, I really feel because I'm healthy. Like my blood work is healthy, my nails are healthy, my hair, I feel more youthful. I have a lot of energy. So I really don't think anything is wrong with me. But the way my body is processing things are different because things are changing. So give it the permission, the space, and the grace to move and to change because you don't know. We've been in autopilot. And so now we're being asked to move out of autopilot and to be more freestyle.
Yep. Yep. And it's an energetic, um, what's the word I'm trying to think of? But it's like the energy is going to then reverberate kind of into the body, and then the body is going to reverberate into and like, I don't know, I can't quite describe this in words, but I can see it in my mind of like this kind of like mixing and changing as we evolve in one area, it affects this area and then it affects that area. Like, you know what
Right.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to
Well,
say?
it goes right back to the dolphin card,
Yeah.
of the breath, the sound, the water.
Yep.
Like everything that we're doing differently, we're creating a different frequency and vibration of our mind, body, and soul because we're coming on board. We are coming alive to these truths. And so our body is shifting and changing. It's like, and then we're like, wait, what is happening? And it's like, I don't know, but okay, this feels good. I feel great. Let's go with it. And goes back to the lighthouse card that where we judge what is happening to us. But it's like, what if, because I was judging what was happening to me because I didn't know because it was different. And the minute I embraced it, the more I was just like, that created so much freedom in my thoughts and my body. And I'm just now a bigger, fuller expression of whatever is happening to me.
Yes. I've had so many strange things happen to my body over the years. And I went to doctors and no one could explain anything to me. No one knew what it was. And it's because I was energetically shifting, but I didn't know that back then. I didn't know that in my 20s. I didn't know that in my early 30s, and like now I look back and I'm like, oh, I get what I was going through and why my body was reacting the way it was. And it's, of course, the doctors didn't know because it wasn't a true, like, it was an energetic thing that I was evolving through.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting because now I feel like I'm at home enough in my intuition that I know when something is wrong with my body and when I need like medical help and when it's truly like an energetic thing that is just like working itself out.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
and there's something, and I know I reference Diana Cooper a lot. She's the one with the future world. I just love her. She's 84. She's just so brilliant. but she talks a lot about the, like, I can't remember the word that she uses, but it's like this gel. It's like this, something is changing in our actual literal body, because like I did a podcast earlier, it was one of the last ones before I took a break, I think, talking about the our bodies are evolving, you know, like how we've evolved over the years. Like we're in a major change of evolution, you know, like our everything in our body is literally changing, like the way our heart is working with our mind, and the way that our nervous system is changing, like our thoughts are changing, our mind is like, everything is our organs are changing, everything is changing. Our diets need to be changing, right? And to accommodate, I know I still like force feed myself sugar, and it's like just because it's like so ingrained of like, I want that cookie or I want that ice cream, you know, like, and I don't even want it, but it's like so ingrained in me that I literally am like, but this makes me feel like a human. This makes me feel like a normal person. So I'm gonna have this, you know, and so I literally will force feed myself that. And then I'll just be like, girl, why did you do that? You're so, but again, like, it's
It's all part of
okay.
it.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not going to kill me. Like I'm okay because I'm doing it, you know, just because in the moment it'll make me happy, and that's okay.
Right. And that's
You know,
okay too.
but energetically my body doesn't want to have to process, and it doesn't need to. So that's where we really go deeper into our unconscious mind and allow ourselves to rise up from a higher perspective of, like, break free from that addiction to sugar, break free from the addiction to alcohol, break free from the addiction to scroll on your phone, you know, all that. We're just being called to that high, and we have a choice of accepting that invitation or not, right? Just with everything, it's a choice.
Totally.
So
Choice. It's all a choice. And we get to
yeah.
make some beautiful choices this month with all three of these cards. So, mm,
Those are really beautiful.
aren't they pretty together? There's like all this purple and blue, like
Yeah,
really, really pretty.
they're really, really, and you look so beautiful with your Oracle deck behind you. Oh my gosh. So for those of you that usually listen on the podcast, we're now on YouTube. So if you want to tune in and just tune into this frequency of us in person, Dana's got a little vibe kicking over there.
Yeah, I do. I have my Oracle deck as the background behind me in the
It's
Zoom
so
call.
beautiful.
And you can see the cards as we pull them and as we talk about them if you watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
We'll still post a photo of these cards if you are an auditory listener and you like to do it that way. We'll still post them on social media like we always do. But the YouTube version is now available to be able to see and to interact a little bit more.
I love
I love it too.
Okay, speaking of October, we got a fun little offering for the
We
end
do.
of this month. I am so excited. We have the Witchy Woman Day Retreat, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be here at my home, and Dana's coming, and she's going to lead us through a past life regression, and she's going to also have her tarot cards, and we're going to have a psychic medium here to, like, we're gonna have like these little crystal balls so we can, like, I mean, they're like little crystal balls, but it's gonna be so fun for us to like tune into that frequency, and she's just gonna be guiding us how to like become our own psychics, right? Like that's all it's within us. And we're going to be doing our little DIY spell jar. So you can just create a spell and then have it, you know, in a jar that is like holds the frequency of that spell, whatever you're creating. And what else are we doing? It's just gonna be, oh, and then I'll guide us through a Lilith inspired breath work, which oh, and I'm so excited about this because I'm encouraging everyone to come dressed in their favorite gypsy, witchy attire, like whatever that vibe is for you. I still don't even know what I'm wearing yet. I'm so excited. Like I need to go shopping and find, because I'm not exactly sure like what my vibe is yet, you know? So I'm like excited to go play with that.
I know. I ordered a dress and it came and I didn't love it, so I returned it. So I'm still on
Okay.
the hunt.
Yeah, I know, because we really like we need to be well represented, right, for
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
So that day is going to be Sunday, October 27th, and it's going to be just fun. Like, I just want it to be a fun day where we are connecting to each other and we are connecting to the magic. I do think I'm going to cap it at about 20. And we're about halfway full right now. So if you do want to come, and if you're from out of town and you're like, oh, I really want to be there, let me know. I mean, I got rooms, I got space, we got hotels nearby. So don't let the fact that you don't live in Atlanta or the surrounding area scare you away. If you want to be here, there's a way, make it happen. But I'm so excited about that.
Me too. And it's from 11 to 5,
Mhm.
so you can plan.
Yep.
And it's gonna be magical, it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be witchy and woo and all the amazing things. I cannot wait. I'm
Yes.
counting down.
I know it's gonna be so, because that's the thing. Like it's like I have my Holy Breath Sister Circle every month. And for October, I was like, but I want this to be special and do something fun. And I just love it that we get to be holy and we get to be witchy because we are it all. We're it
All
all. So, to be able to access to that holy divinity aspect of ourselves and that witchy wild aspects of ourselves, the magical, mystical parts of ourselves, like we are it all. Let's not forget.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Dana, thank you so much for your time and your wisdom today. And thank you so much to everyone for listening all the way to the end here. I know I'm sorry, we're always so long, but I can't help it.
Can't
Um,
help it.
I know we just literally can't help it. Love you all so much. And let's continue the conversation over in the Facebook group, and we'll talk to you soon. Happy October.